Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a great day today. Welcome to Thursday's edition of Take 5. We are dealing with the subject that we have called, Do You Love Me More Than These? And we're looking at the time when Jesus posed that question to Peter 3 times in a row. 3 times he said to Peter, back to back, he said, do you really love me? And he was doing this to get to the heart of Peter so that Peter would look at himself and realize what's the most important thing. Now, this episode between Peter and Jesus, it happens after the resurrection. It's before the ascension. It's before that final commission that Jesus gives the disciples to go and tarry at Jerusalem until they're filled with the Holy Ghost and with power. It is before the startup of the New Testament church. And this is happening at this time to prepare Peter and the rest of the disciples and you and me still to this day, to prepare them for the work that is to come. Because what we've learned so far is, and we'll learn that even more today, I believe, is that Peter and the disciples, nor you and I, we cannot fulfill the work that is still to be done if we don't truly love the Lord. And I mean love Him with all of our heart, our soul, our mind, and our strength, just like Jesus said. If we don't do that, we're not going to be able to fulfill the work that is to come. Now, I realize that there are a lot of people in church today that think that being a Christian and coming to church, well, that's all about me. You know, it's what I get out of it, and it's what, you know, the church gives to me, and so on. And that is so wrong, because when we come to church, that is to prepare us so that we can minister to the lost, so we can witness to them, so we can have compassion and empathy on those that are hurting and on those that are lost and bound up by sin. And the fact is, if we don't really love God, there's no way that we can really love them and see the purpose that we have. And so that's why Jesus is pressing Peter like this, because Peter's about to minister to a lost world. Peter's about to minister to people that aren't like him. You remember, Peter's a Jew. I mean, he's a Jew to the first degree. He is a Jew. And he's going to struggle a little bit when it comes to ministering to Gentiles, to people that aren't like him. And the same applies to you and me today. That's what's out there in this world. People that are not like us, people that don't know about our church lingo, people that don't know what we do when we come to church, people that don't know, you know, how Christians are supposed to act. That's what's out there. And we're going to have compassion and empathy and be able to minister and love people that are not like us. And the only way we can do that and do it the right way is to be completely in love with Jesus Christ. And so that's what this was all about with Peter. When Jesus talked to him initially, he said, do you love me more than these? And we learned yesterday, he was talking about a host of things, all the things that come into Peter's life, the fish, the boats, the nets, the friends, and the relationships. And primarily he wanted to know, do you love me like you say you do? Because Peter said he loved Jesus more than anybody, but we found out that he was no different than the rest, because when he was pressured, he denied the Lord and ran away as well. Next, Jesus begins to tell Peter how this true love and devotion for the Lord is supposed to be expressed. And that's what we've been talking about today. It's expressed in love, in ministry, in concern, in compassion for others that are lost and without Jesus Christ. John 21 verse 15 says, when they had eaten breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me more than these? We talked about that yesterday. He said, yes, Lord. Now here's how it's supposed to be expressed. He said, you know that I love you. And Jesus said, then feed my lambs. Jesus repeated that, feed my lambs or tend my sheep. He repeated that 3 times. That was the response every time. That was how Jesus told Peter that real love for God is expressed. It's expressed in concern, compassion, and ministry for others. Basically, Jesus is saying, when you love what I love, who I love, and how I love it, then you can say you truly love me. So our love for God is revealed when we keep the commandment to do what He has called us to do with all of our heart, soul, mind, and strength. And we do this because we love the Lord. And then our love overflows in our hearts toward others. That turns into ministry. That turns into compassion. That turns into empathy for those that may not be like us, those that have problems, issues, and sins that are unlike our own. And so that's the only way we will ever know what it is to really minister to a lost and dying world. And the only way we'll ever do it proficiently and biblically is to be sold out and completely in love with Jesus Christ. That's the only way we can do it. Now, it's going to cost you something. And Jesus also told Peter that as well. He said this kind of love, if you're going to have this love for me, it's going to cost you something. In verse 18 and 19 of John 21, He said, most assuredly, I say to you that when you were younger, you girded yourself and you walked where you wanted to. But when you're old, you'll stretch out your hands and another will gird you and carry you where you do not want to go. This He spoke, signifying by what death that Peter would glorify God. And when He had spoken this to him, He said, now come and follow me. He's specifically talking about the kind of death that Peter is going to face. Now, there was a time when Peter said he was willing to die, but he shrunk back from that when actually faced with that. But when you truly love God, He has a way of empowering you to do things that you didn't think you could do. And that's what happened to Peter. Peter truly, truly, truly loved the Lord. And when it came time for him to die, Eusebius tells us in his historical writings that when Nero was about to crucify Peter, that Peter said, I do not deserve to die as honorably as my Lord. When you crucify me, turn the cross upside down, I deserve to die for Him, but I don't deserve to die like He died. Now, something happened in the life of this man that denied the Lord 3 times to now fall so deeply in love with Him that he would say, I know I've got to die, but if I've got to die, turn the cross upside down because I don't deserve to die like He died. Now, your service and mine to God may not turn into a martyr's death, but when you really love Jesus, you're going to have to die to your own self each and every day so that the love you have for Him can overflow into others. Because the call that we have from God to be light and salt in this world does not mean that we are free to do our own thing. We are bound to serve the Lord because of our love for Him and His love for us. And that's the only way we'll ever love the world to the point that we can teach them about the Lord, is that we be completely in love with Jesus Christ. Well, hey, I've got to get out of here. It's been good being with you today. I look forward to being with you tomorrow on Friday's edition of Take 5. Until then, God bless you. Have a great day. Remember, friend, trust the Lord. He will never fail you.